r/AskReddit by Redmond Dtes. What's the most NSFW thing you've seen at a wedding party? Bride and groom popped some shrooms mid-reception and were later found going at it in a side room at the venue. I wasn't actually the one who found them, but the person who did closed the door gently and didn't tell them about it until months later. They thought they were being quiet. They were not. My wife was a bridesmaid at a wedding where the newly married husband was caught screwing his boss's wife at the reception. Some old friends from college, dated for as long as I knew them. We lost touch over the years, and then I get a save the date in the mail. I guess they started to get into swinging and BDSM as they were wearing sexy leather outfits, holding whips and such on the card. I thought it was a joke, but talking to others from our friend group, it turns out it wasn't. So for sure I wasn't missing this wedding. The ceremony itself was pretty normal, other than her dress being very revealing. But the party, oh man, it was crazy time. Drugs everywhere, dancers in cages, men and women in leather outfits walking around, offering free whippings. It was like a Hollywood after hours club in a sci-fi movie. Was working an enclosed photo booth, and one of the bridesmaids used my rubber chicken prop as a dildo. Bridesmaid giving one of the groomsmen a BJ in the men's bathroom. Not even in a stall, just right in the open. Nothing ruins a classy wedding faster than drunk relatives forgetting they're related. I was a wedding server at a winery for about 7 years. I have so many stories, but one of my favorites is when a bride and groom hired a family friend as their DJ. We knew we had a problem when he became sloppy drunk and started kissing and groping one of the women behind his DJ booth early in the night. Keep in mind, the DJ booth is the center of the party, so everyone could see what was happening. He also went off script and started playing his favorite music instead of what the bride and groom wanted. At the end of the night, the bride confronted him in tears and said, "You ruined my wedding," before storming off. But it gets worse. Part of my job was to clean up the wedding at the end of the night with my boss and a few others. We called the DJ a cab because he was clearly unable to drive. We weren't able to watch him as we cleaned up, but since the property gate was closed we felt okay leaving him until the cab arrived. When no one was looking, this sucker proceeds to get in his car and drive through the gate. Fast forward to when the cops arrive, and they said they have matching descriptions of a guy driving on the interstate, ramming multiple cars, and shouting "F you," while flipping them off. I never found out if they caught the guy, but I often think about how his morning went after that night. Mine isn't going to be risque like most of these others, but wedding in Maine. May have been New Hampshire. I'm from California, so all those states just seem like counties to me. Hard to know which one I'm in at what time, and I have family all over them. Beautiful old church followed by a drive to the reception about a mile away in a big tent, set up next to a lake. Midway through the reception, a massive thunderstorm broke out. It was a biblical amount of water, just pouring in sheets off the sides of the tent. And that's when the tent started to collapse. Which is not safe for work literally. Except in this case, it basically was the groom's work. He was a firefighter, so he and his groomsmen ripped off their jackets and dress shirts and set about shoring up the tent. They were giving orders to the rest of us, lashing stakes into the mud, tying ropes around the main tent pole, and just heaving on it to get it back upright. All of us guests got in on the action. One little boy also doffed his shirt to look like the firefighters, which was adorable and hilarious. The bride's dad was a big biker, and his whole gang was there, not a real biker gang, more like an old dude's Harley club. They all got up and tried to out-burly the firemen. After about 15 minutes of struggle, we all got the tent stable again, shored up, and in a place where we could resume the party. Everyone was soaked to the bone, but we were happy. It was like we'd just been to battle. Tremendous family bonding moment. The bride and groom's kiss at the end of it all felt like watching a Hallmark movie. The rain let off a bit too, and we had a really fun rest of the party. Edit. Since people enjoy this so much, here are some of my photos of the event. Instead of the garter toss, the groom took off the bride's garter with his teeth and proceeded to hand it to his teenage son, with everybody watching. Bride's cousin and his girlfriend decided to have a foursome with the married couple. They started in the bathroom and kept it going in the party bus back to the hotel that had both sides' family on it, including the cousin's stepmom. The guest of the bride shot and killed a guest of the groom in the back of the head because the shooter felt threatened when he was told to back off the new deceased's girlfriend. I distinctly remember everyone running in fear and ducking and hiding while the shooter nonchalantly exited the venue, gun in hand. What happened to the shooter? Shooting someone after hitting on their girlfriend because you felt threatened when told to back off is completely insane. I hope he didn't get away with claiming it was self-defense and got some consequences. He was found guilty and served 23 years. Due out this year? Fuck. Yes, but I believe their sentence ends 2026. Military wedding. One of the bridesmaids asked a guest for his dress blues top, a blazer suit jacket, disappeared for a couple minutes, then came back to the dance floor wearing it. Only it. Nothing else. I was a waiter at a catering hall in the 90s. Bridal party, people hooking up in the linen closet, bridal room, lots of coke, bunch of BJs. Waiter decided to moon the wedding. He got thrown down a flight of stairs, a stabbing in the middle of the wedding that turned into a riot. And a groom and best man, who were brothers, beat the shit out of their drunk father for being a dong all day and pushing the wedding cake to the floor. The boobs of the groom's mother. I performed the ceremony, and during the after party, she wanted to dance with me. Mid-song, she gave a little jump, the bodice fell down, and out they came. She stopped for a moment, said, "Fuck it," and kept dancing. One of the groomsmen brought an escort to the wedding, and then passed out, because there was an open bar. She wanted to party, and asked me if I had any coke. I told her I only had some weed if she wanted, and she declined. She found some, because I saw her going down on who I think was a cousin of the bride in the parking lot. The mother of the groom showing everyone pictures from her wedding boudoir shoot 30 years ago. There were some spicy pictures. My band played at a wedding. The mother-in-law did not like the bride at all. The mother-in-law thought she was white trash. The bride grew up with nothing and worked her ass off to be very successful. The mother-in-law was talking trash about her new daughter-in-law. It got back to the bride. Toward the end of the night, before anyone left, the bride walked out to the middle of the floor and thanked everyone for being there at this special moment in her life. Then she said, "But I've got one more thing to say. I love my husband with all of my heart, but his shit talking mother better stay the F out of our lives." We played a few more songs and wrapped it up for the night. That was 12 years ago. They are still married, and the mother-in-law still hasn't been invited to their house. 20 years ago I went to a wedding where all the men in the wedding party wore Confederate uniforms. Since then, the couple have become very much not of that persuasion. They're probably absolutely mortified. Bridesmaids started fighting over the bouquet, and a tit popped out. She didn't get the bouquet, but she became the most popular girl in the aftermath of that conflict. My cousin trying to bang every semi-attractive male in the venue at my brother's wedding. She was not successful. One of the first weddings I ever attended as a child was my uncle's. He was the youngest of 3 and a wild rich kid who surprised everyone by getting married to a very normal, not rich girl. The night before the wedding, the groomsmen went on a 12 hours drinking binge and were all missing up to an hour before the ceremony. We got to the "does anyone object" part of the ceremony, and the second groomsman buffed up his bacon and eggs breakfast, and then turned away from the audience to reveal he'd also crapped his pants. The second and third groomsmen saw this and followed along with the barfing and pooping too. One groomsman remained standing, not barfing. Mom tried to turn me away from the atrocity, but I kept watching. The last thing I saw before turning away was the last groomsman jumping off the little stage and dropping his pants and shooting a solid stream of liquid fecal material into a flower bed. Chaos ensued. The wedding resumed hours later after the grounds crew at the venue had hosed everything off or bury it under piles of sawdust and perfume. A fair amount of people left early and didn't see the wedding itself. Oh, yes, they are still married to this day. They had several kids, and their oldest child got married last year. At a completely different outdoor venue. Bride and best man got caught hooking up in the bathroom. Groom caught them and started throwing punches. Wedding party was smashing champagne glasses on the dance floor, where people were dancing barefoot. Bartenders were over-serving. Bride's grandpa got handsy with the underage venue staff. Cops got called and shut the whole thing down. A bunch of people got arrested. Nice lakeside venue at a resort hotel. Was not part of the party, but it was outside where anyone could see. The happy couple had a fireworks display set off on a boat on the lake. Something obviously went awry, as the boat was on fire by the end of the display. Wife and I could see someone swimming away from our balcony, then hotel staff rushing out in other boats to put out the fire. Definitely not safe for work. But I hope the couple is still doing good. Best man got naked on the dance floor, and maid of honor was dancing provocatively and flashed her privates to the whole venue. Best man and maid of honor are actually married to each other, so explains what their family is like. There were so many kids there, just weird. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.